on.
Hey everybody, Mr. Fleischman again. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about Frac Calc and checkpoint 1. So I would really like to have this done very soon. So if you're really stumped about how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and let you watch this video and you can kind of keep up with the rest of the class, keep up with us. So Frac Calc is a rather large program with a lot of hurdles. So what we did is broke it down into 3 checkpoints. So if you look at checkpoint number 1, which we're asking you guys to turn in pretty soon, let's go take a look at it. I think it's in my viewer here. So checkpoint 1 is asking you to create a scanner, read one line of input, and that passes it into a produce answer method. Okay, so let's just read this whole thing, get an overview, and then we'll go back and build this line by line. So this produce answer method we just mentioned breaks up that line of input into 3 separate strings. One is the first operand. The second would be the operator. And then we have the second operand. So each of these strings should be stored inside variables inside produce answer. Okay, so we're breaking up a fraction problem, for example, like this. 1 2/3 plus 4 5/6. And it splits these up, okay, into 3 separate little string variables. Okay, they're going to be separated and stored as strings. Okay, the produce answer method simply right now should return the second operand. So that might not make sense to you now. That's like, okay, how is that going to help us produce the answer? So yeah, that maybe is a little bit unclear what we're going for here. Really, what we're trying to get you guys to do is parse out this string into 3 pieces. And then right now, just return this as your solution. Obviously, this isn't going to be what the answer is of the math problem, but that's what we're asking for right now. So that when we go to checkpoint 2 and 3, we can build upon what you've done inside this method. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So make sure you're in your Frac Calc class that you downloaded from Canvas. And this is what we're going to do first. Do you remember it said we need a scanner? Okay, so let's go ahead and build a scanner right here then. And then it says to take in some kind of problem, right? So I can now kind of prompt the user. Enter a problem, a fraction problem. And remember, we're not actually finding the answer right now. Okay, all we're doing is kind of taking the time to split it up. Let's just go ahead and pass in then the user's response to that. So, okay. So this itself is a string. We could simply call the method on this string right here. But what we want to do is, I'm trying to make it readable for you guys. So what do I mean by that? So let's see, it's going to be prompt. It's actually produce answer, right? So let's produce answer on the user's string or the user's response. We actually could have taken this whole scanner next line and put it in here and then just done away with this whole string user response. But this looks clear to me. So inside produce answer, we need to do some work, okay? So let's do the work with the input string. So inside here, it's called input. You'll notice that this curly brace is kind of in an unfamiliar place. I think Java conventions have it up here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so what are we going to do with this input? Well, there's one really fast way to split this into 3 pieces. And that would be to make another scanner in here that just splits up the 3 strings. Okay, so I'm going to show you that real quick. Or since this has a local scope, I can also call it S. I don't have to though. So this, actually what this scanner is going to take, normally we write system in as sort of like an automatic, but this time the scanner isn't going to scan through anything that the user types again. We already have that input. So what we can do is have it take a look at input. Okay, so now instead of scanning whatever the user types, we already have that input and we're just going to scan through it. Okay, so I can make a string called operand 1. And I can just say that it's the scanner's next item. I can make a string called operand 2. actually, the next is going to be the operator, isn't it? It's going to be the scanner's next item after the one it was before. And then finally, a string called operand 2 that takes the scanner's next. So what is the scanner define as something that's next? Well, it simply looks for a space. That's what it thinks the separates words from each other. Or if there is no space, it'll just go to the end of the string and it'll consider that the end of that little section. Okay, so now I'm just going to return operand 2 right now. So let's see if this works. I wonder if I print this, the result of this. I wonder if this works. Let's find out. So it's going to ask me to go ahead and enter a fraction problem, I believe. There it goes. Enter a fraction problem about 3/4 plus 9 halves. Okay, and it prints 9 halves. It's really that easy. So some of you guys were running some pretty complex algorithms in here, and you guys were kind of looking through the string right here and trying to find spaces. What I'm going to do is, for those of you who didn't do it like this, I'm going to go ahead and do a video about how to manually take the next. Like the scanner really makes our life easy, doesn't it? But if you did it manually and you want to keep that because you're proud of it, I'm going to go ahead and do one that's kind of very similar to what you probably did. Or if you're working on that and you're stuck, maybe my video will help you through that. So just to kind of check to make sure this works, let's make sure that this returns the I'm just going to look at each of the pieces and make sure it gets them all correct. Okay, so enter a fraction problem. How about 3 4/5 minus 9 8/7? Okay, so if I'm looking for the operator this time, it should give me back, it should give me back the minus sign, and it does. Let's return operand 1 and make sure it works as well. I'm sure it does, but I just want to kind of make sure. How about 3/8 times 9? I should get 3/8 come back, and I do. So the scanner is so helpful. Okay, I hope you guys seen that. I don't know if we've actually gone over a whole lot of these examples of using strings inside the argument for scanner. We've used system in here so much that maybe we're ready to explore what other things the scanner can do. And look at how fast that is. So all the logic that you guys are probably working on writing to find each of the pieces of that input string are done by scanner. So that's one clean and easy way to separate the 3 arguments out. And there we go. We have operand 1, we have the operator, and the operand 2. Okay, pretty sweet, right? Okay, so I highly recommend kind of getting used to this, because you can see what we want to do with, say, operand 1. Maybe we want to parse this out, right? So it might be useful to have a scanner looking through here. So I'm going to, obviously, throughout the whole Frac Calc process, I'll be posting videos about how to do this with scanners to parse and how to do the parsing manually, because I think both approaches are valuable. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please look for the other video in which I'm going to show you how to manually parse the string. I think that one probably you get a little bit more content knowledge out of. This one is really cool and clean and shows you the marvel of scanner. All right, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Check out video number 2 for how to parse input manually. Talk to you soon.